community, in our own homes, in our own churches, we are divided. We are not equal. We are not treated equal. Women are not treated equal. And as we remember today, Congressman John Lewis and his legacy, he said over 60 years ago, we cannot rest until all are treated equal. I believe he meant women as well.
Shameika Averett, Tacara, Hemingway, and Toyia Tucker, City Councilwoman Toyia Tucker, and we are from My Black Has a Purpose. Today's event was Unity in Crowns, Queens in Crowns, a Unity March in honor of Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, Tiana Jefferson, Corin Gaines, and a few other ladies that I can't say off the top of my head. But this event was an honor. It was for them, and we walk for them. We walk for them today to remember them.
Our support towards females or women that have been brutally killed by police, violence and brutality. And as you know, I am a mother of Jarvis Lights, whose son was killed by police as well. But today it's all about the women's. You know, we're trying to make sure that they are aware of the women's being killed as much as the young men's. So I'm here to support the women's today. All our queens that have already passed on due to police violence.
I dedicate my campaign to my beautiful wife. She's a black queen and my goddess. And without her and without other black women, I would not have won the DA seat for the people. I want to say to you all that I understand first, why I understand is because I understand that the first woman was black. I understand that. That's right. I understand that we all come from a black woman, all of us. No matter what we look like now. So y'all surely see with current events how much trust is placed in the queens and the black queens that lead these young men and women. But I know y'all are up to the challenge, and I know y'all are up to the job that God required of you. But I know too that y'all are sick of being misunderstood and mischaracterized and use terms like angry. Oh, it's just another angry black woman. Well, we must reject that notion. No, ma'am. Your black has a purpose, just like my wife's black has a purpose, just like my black has a purpose. And I want y'all to shout it literally from the streets. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I wanted to conclude with a few thoughts about Breonna Taylor tragedy. Now, I don't have jurisdiction out in Kentucky, obviously. I've only read news reports on the matter. I haven't looked at any evidence in the case. But I can tell you from what I've seen today with the case that it would indeed be a good day for those officers to be arrested. Particularly the one, my understanding there was one that shot blindly into the house. We can't have that. And so what I wanted to announce today formally is that under my administration as DA, in a narcotic, if it's just a narcotics case, we will not use no-knock warrants. I'll dismiss the case if they want to continue this practice. If they want to continue kicking in doors over some little thing of weed or whatever they're worried about and concerned about, we're not going to prosecute the case. And that's the only reason I can think. The only reason I can think that death happened was because of the use of a no-knock warrant.
And one of the greatest queens that I do believe that exists is Oprah Winfrey. And Oprah says this: think like a queen, because a queen is not afraid to fail. But because we understand that failure is another stepping stone to success. So the time to unite, whether we're black, brown, or green, is when? Now. The time to no longer use shade to throw at our sister is now. The only time that I need you to give me shade, baby, is when it's hot, like it is now. Now it's time to move past our pettiness in Pettyville to understand until we get past pettiness, we will never proceed into our destiny that's laying ahead of us. When? Now. That's good. We have to understand that we can't let our baby's daddy's situation with his new queen cause us to decrown her because we don't want to be a part of that journey. We must understand that now is the time to get off of the merry-go-round of life. That now is the time, Miss Arisha, wherever you might be, now is the time. Now is the time. Why is now the time? I tell everybody that when you break through your now, you've won. In case you think I'm not making good sense today, just turn the word now around in your head. And the next time you get into a now moment and it doesn't quite look like you need it to look because you're struggling because the divorce almost took your breath. You're struggling because the relationship didn't go quite the way that you wanted. You're struggling because corporate America gave you a ceiling that's called glass that you couldn't crack. You got to remember that I've won. And so just in case, ladies, they close the door on you, I implore you to go and build your own door. And if you can't build it yourself, find some friends and colleagues that's willing to get some lumber called life, to get some situations and some nails called determination, and begin to build the door for your destiny. Because now is when you must know that you own your future. It doesn't belong to Congress. It doesn't belong to the DA, bless his heart. It doesn't belong to the streets. It belongs to you. So I dare you to say, life is not going to take my breath again. This situation is not going to consume me again. Nothing is going to take my voice again. Because I'm going to rise. I'm going to rise like the tide. I'm going to rise like the day. I'm going to rise against adversity. I'm going to arise against any difficulties that will frail my way. Because guess what? Life is filled with disappointments. So before I go, I just want you to know, I dare you to challenge life. And all the thousands of situations that we find ourselves in as queens. And though she might not look like you, though she may not have hair like you, though she may not dress like you, though she may not swag like you, I encourage you to speak life. I encourage you to rise up. Rise against the injustice of our culture as women, where there has been systematic, if you will, DA, opposition to our growth. Now we break the barriers of disappointment and we rise. Again, we rise. How many ladies will join with me and say, I rise? I rise like the day, I rise. I rise like the sun, I rise. I rise like Christ, I rise. I rise like the golden day, I rise. I rise like the clouds, I rise. Because I am what? A queen in crowns. Thank you. How many queens do I have on the streets today? Y'all ain't making enough noise. Y'all make more noise than that in church. How many queens do I have on the streets today? Y'all make more noise than that at the Georgia Bulldogs. How many queens do I have? How many queens do I have on the streets today? Queen! In crowd! I said queen! In crowd! Queen! In crowd! Queen! In crowd! Queen! In crowd! Justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! Breonna Taylor! Breonna Taylor! Breonna Taylor!